Greece has reportedly been accused of wasting time over the debt deal, while its foreign minister made few friends by threatening to open the country's borders to a flood of Middle Eastern economic migrants if Europe won't back down on its austerity demands. Down the line now to discuss all is Savvas Savouri. Savvas, not much concrete progress has been made so far among ministers in Brussels. The only thing they agreed to is technical talks to determine whether Greece will receive the next tranche of funding will begin on Wednesday. But how optimistic are you at this stage of a resolution being found?
Optimism isn't really the description I'd come up with. There's an imperative. Greece is in such a position it can't be allowed to fail. And it's not about moral hazard or setting a precedent. Everything has to be done to keep Greece solvent. And the intransigence we're seeing is almost, for want of a better expression, bloody-mindedness on the part of the Germans.
The question on everyone's lips seems to be whether Greece could run out of cash very soon. To your mind, would EU lenders really allow that to happen?
Greece I cannot stress enough, Greece cannot be allowed to fail in terms of solvency, because the contagion would spread very quickly in what is a very, very, very unstable region. You're looking at Bulgaria, Macedonia, Albania, Romania, Serbia, Croatia, Turkey. Neighbours have neighbours. There's a view that I've heard expressed, which is that Greece can be contained. It could almost be hermetically sealed in some North Korean fashion, and it's impossible. You can't make Greece some sort of autarky.
Today we have inflation data and trade balance, which in theory should help give indicators of the actual economy. But with all eyes on the administration, what further hurdles does the Greek government still have?
Well, I think the month-by-month economic data is insignificant. It's inconsequential. I like to reduce things into three fours. The Greeks want debt forgiveness. There are some in Europe, particularly Germany, who simply want to foreclose on Greece. What Greece actually needs, what the European Union needs, what the Eurozone needs, is some sort of forbearance. Greece will never be able to pay the debts as they currently stand. No amount of deferment is enough. And the consequences of bailing Greece out are less severe than the consequences of making an example of Greece. I'm amazed how conciliatory Syriza have been, and my big fear is that Varoufakis resigns, because the man who will replace him will be far less conciliatory.
It was a busy morning on the currency markets. Euro-dollar down by nearly 1% and Euro-Swiss franc edging towards parity again. Now obviously a weaker euro is good news for exports, but can the bloc cope with increasingly expensive imports as well as everything else?
The Eurozone needs reflation, it needs inflation. So the idea that inflationary pressures are a bad thing is actually contrary to what the ECB is saying. The ECB would like to see inflation. My concern is that the backdrop is a sharply lower oil price, which is deflationary. And I wouldn't emphasise the euro-dollar or euro-Swiss franc. In many ways, it's the European currency, it's the euro against neighbouring currencies, the currencies around Europe that could possibly devalue against it, because we know from history and experience that if you need to provide your economy with a competitive boost, the first thing you do is you devalue. And it's not about the Eurozone devaluing against the dollar, but it's that other European countries devaluing against the euro.
Savvas, thank you for your time. Well, that's all from Savvas and myself for the moment. Of course, the TV team will be covering this story as it develops, so please do keep clicking back to Toscafund TV.